Hello, I'm Joel Blackford with Beth Hassett Sabbath Fellowship. Thank you for joining us. We're virtual only based out of St. Paul, Minnesota. The phone number works if you'd like to contact us. We do the thought behind the thought, the philosophy of eschatology. John Haller does the best job on the news. I try to give you what you need to know, your reality, your existence going forward. We solve a little piece of Revelation each week. Purim isn't in Revelation, but there is this problem of coming against the saints from Revelation 13, 7 through 10. So this is what's happening right now. And I think it's due to the blood moon eclipses. This seems to be picking things up. It's accelerating. The imperialists are pushing for World War III, and I'll try to prove that to you today. Now, this is from 2024 from Mail Online, and it talks about World War III has begun, but it's not what you expect. It's not a Hollywood story where you're going to have the mushroom clouds or the apocalyptic wastelands. No, it's going to be multi-domain battlefields, death by 1,000 cuts, things like that. It's a different type of a warfare because nobody really wants to have all-out nuclear warfare, which is World War III, which is the Gog-Magog situation. But they all are pushing for it right now across the world. All of the people that are slightly crazy, and then I applaud Trump for trying not to cause World War III and try to cause peace, and that is First Thessalonians 5:3. When you hear of peace and safety, be aware that things could just fall apart real quick. So, what are we doing? What are we talking about? We're talking about Haman today. We're talking about Purim. We're talking about this time frame. We're trying not to twist the Bible. We're giving you news. And keep in mind, Purim is in the Bible. That's the Esther story, Hadassah. And of course, it relates to Haman. And so, Purim. Deluded imperialists push for World War III. Yes. So, Evil Empire Summit set for Friday, which is the day of the full moon. So, that would have been the 14th, and that's during Purim, of course, in Beijing. Chinese, Russian, Iranian. I'll give you the symbols in a little bit, but the main thing is this is from All Israel News, and they're showing these three sides getting together. This is from Joel Rosenberg. It's interesting. So tomorrow, senior officials of the three most dangerous nations on the planet, I agree with him, China, Russia, Iran, will huddle in Beijing. Why? To defy President Donald J. Trump? Yes, of course. But also to strengthen and sharpen their anti US and Western alliance. And so China is deepening strategic ties with Russia and Iran, with all these three countries taking part in the Security Belt 2025 naval drills this week, reported South China Morning Post. Interesting. So it's related to the blood moons, of course. And I'm telling you that even though it isn't preached in Christianity, it just isn't, but it is preached in Judaism in Sukkah 29a, and also in history. And I'll show you the historic slides in a minute here. Bear with me. And also, I'm telling you that the other side, the Haman, the Amalek side, knows that their spirits are being agitated right now. So this is from March 13th, talking about those things. And here's the report itself. Iran, Russia, China discuss Tehran's nuclear program. They want to meet together to nuke Israel. That's what they want. And this is done on March 14th, the blood moon eclipse day. This is reported by Al Jazeera. And I'm going to quote from Esther 3:13. Letters were sent by courier to all the royal provinces to destroy, kill, and exterminate all Jews, from the old to the young to the old, including small children and women, on a specific day, the 13th day. So interesting how they're working together on the 13th. Then they expect to do what their dirty deed on the 14th, but instead you'll see what occurs on the 14th. And of the 12th month, which is Adar, which is this time frame that we're in right now with the blood moon eclipse, and to seize their goods too as plunder. That's Esther 3:13. Haman knows. Amalek knows. These ancient enemies of Israel all know what's going on, the timing and everything like that. Purim 2025. This is from End Times Headlines. More events converging with the Purim blood moon. Okay, and so this is Ricky Scarparo. I don't usually agree with him because he is the rapture date setter type of a guy. But anyway, it's just interesting that they're discussing about their nuclear program. And it's a program or it's a pogrom against Israel. And this is, that Purim story sounds like the end of days with the Antichrist. Okay, so once again, Iran is Persia, the lion, and Haman. Russia is the bear, China's the dragon. You'll see that slide in just a second here and get a little background on it. But a little bit more about the news. So on that day, then on the 14th, as the blood moon eclipse is occurring, Israel strikes Islamic Jihad headquarters in Damascus, okay, Syria. And then the EU rift with the United States, an opportunity for China. So you see the power plays going on during the Purim timeframe. Very interesting. We'll call it wars and rumors of wars. For worldwide wars. So it's just very, very interesting to see this going on. CENTCOM blasted out on March 14th against various locations in ISIS, Iraq, Yemen, across the Middle East, okay? So they were blasting things left and right. So CENTCOM, blasting here, blasting everywhere, and let's see here. Houthi targets in Yemen too, okay? Very interesting that they're blasting over there. So March 13th, 14th, 15th, all of these attacks occurring as the Purim blood moon eclipse is occurring, okay? And then on the bottom from World Israel News, Iran's mullahs can never change, never be friends, never be trusted. You could never trust Haman either. Okay, that's part of the Purim story. So just keep that in mind. This is very interesting to see these things going on back and forth. The passion play over Israel, over Esther. So this is from the Sheer Post from March 15th. Iran, Russia, China reject unlawful U.S. sanctions after tripartite meeting. Okay, I want you to be aware that Haman wore a three-cornered hat according to tradition, and it looks like a cookie on the right-hand side. So it's just very interesting. Under the blood moon eclipse, under Purim, you've got Tehran, insisting that its nuclear program is entirely peaceful, in line with religious fatwa against weapons of mass destruction, as well as the fact that it is a signatory on the non-nuclear non-proliferation treaty. You can't trust them at all. You know that. So just keep all of these things in mind. So once again, I'm telling you that the blood moon eclipses matter over history. The first tetrad seemed to be witnessed about the time of Noah's flood. A tetrad occurred when Jacob entered Egypt. A tetrad then when Moses led the Exodus out of Egypt in 1447 BCE, if that was the date that they left. It was under a tetrad. Okay, tetrad when Jacob died and prophesied the coming of King David, or Jacob died, yeah. And then tetrad when David became king, and then a tetrad. And as you can see down below, the tetrad is 4 blood moon eclipses in a row, 2 years, Passover, Sukkot, generally. Tetrad 168 BCE under Hanukkah. Tetrad 1493, 1494, the discovery of America by Columbus. And so he sailed in 1492, but he didn't return to Spain and Portugal until 1493. He had a storm in March, on the Ides of March. There was a tetrad, a hidden one, not of eclipses, not of blood moon eclipses, but eclipses on 1539, 1540, as Suleiman the Magnificent rebuilt the street and the walls of Jerusalem. Very interesting. Tetrad in 1949, 1950. Once again, in 48, they declared war against Israel, and then Israel won that war early in 1949 as the tetrads bloomed. Then 67, 68, about the Jerusalem War. Nothing needed to occur in 2014, 2015. It's like a 10-year sign of what we're entering right now. And then the next one is 2032 and 2033. It's not the type of tetrad that I would expect, but it's very interesting. So these have meaning. And I'm telling you that the other side, the Haman, the Amalek side, they know about the meaning because they have the input of, thousands of years on the demonic side. So the eclipse on 4/8 of 24 mattered. It seemed to be part of the Haman code, and it seems to be setting things up. This is Jarrett that's speaking from Supernatural by Design. And so Haman, the attack against Israel, this Amalek thing, they know the date of attack for World War III. And I think we're setting up for World War III right now. It hasn't hit yet. It's a death by 1,000 cuts. Okay, but this is just my type of a take on what occurred on the Aleph and the Tav eclipses of 2017, 2023, 2024, and then the Tav of 17 versus 2024. Both of those crossings were very interesting. And I'm telling you that Haman is a lot like Aleister Crowley. and because he was the most wicked man in the history of the world. And there seems to be this weird little gap between 1904 when he prophesied and 2024 in the eclipses. Just very interesting. And the three-part hat, you see that up there? Okay, the Haman hat. Okay, so I'm telling you, the Hamanites are aware of the eclipses. The World Economic Forum, their logo is an eclipse, and you can see the eclipse on the right-hand side, and Haman and the blood moon eclipse, whether it's a solar eclipse or a lunar, they have different meanings, but I'm telling you the WEF is aware of the meaning. They are quite aware of it. The animals matter. Okay, so Iran is a lion, and Medo-Persia was a bear, and Greece was a leopard. And so 4 huge animals came out of the sea in Daniel 7's dream. And there were also the statue of Daniel 2. So it's very interesting that you've got the lion with the wings and the bear and the leopard and then the final beast of Rome. Very interesting how these all match up with the countries that you just saw, which would be Iran, Medo-Persia, the bear, would be Russia. Okay, we know Russia's the bear. Germany is the leopard, which is interesting. And the beast would be, in many cases, it could be Rome. It could be a Roman system of some sort, but it could be like Amos 3:11, an adversary shall surround the land, and he shall bring down your defenses. So Jared, once again, Supernatural by Design, in this particular video, points out the fact that you've got the dragon, which seems to be China too, okay? And the bear, Russia, against America, the eagle, and the lion would be Iran. It's just interesting to see these connections here. The animals match up with Daniel, and they match up with Revelation too. So this is Revelation 12, but did we witness, this is just cute. This is not fact or anything like that. This is just interesting to notice that Starlink by Elon Musk had his satellites up in the sky, and his Dragon launch, his spacecraft, was launched to go and get, and I just watched it today, how they went and got these astronauts that Boeing left up in space. Now, a great sign was seen in heaven. A woman clothed with the sun, under her feet the moon, and on her head a crown of 12 stars. She was pregnant and about to give birth, and she screamed as in the agony of labor. Another sign was seen in the heaven, and there was a great red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns. I'm not saying that it's Elon Musk or Starlink, or SpaceX in this case, but it is intriguing to see the dragon going and getting the astronauts up in space. I mean, it's just interesting. And the various royal crowns. And then at some point in time, a third of the stars will fall. Starlink has stars up in the heavens right now. I don't know. It's just interesting to note this and see it. You can pause it and read it in total if you're interested. So Purim 214 war games rather. It would be 314. And so what I want you to see is the animal at the United Nations and how it looks like what I'm reading on the right, which is Revelation 13, 1-4. And I saw a beast come up out of the sea with 10 horns and 7 heads. On its horns were 10 royal crowns, and on its heads blasphemous names. The beast which I saw was like a leopard. That's kind of like Germany. And Germany's a wild card right now. But with feet like those of a bear, Russia, and with a mouth like that of a lion, Iran. To it, the dragon, China, I'm throwing in SpaceX for the fun of it, gave it its power, its throne, and great authority. One of the heads of the beast appeared to have received a fatal wound, but his fatal wound was healed, and the whole earth followed after the beast in amazement. Now, I don't know if I don't think China or SpaceX are it. I think it will be what you call the Antichrist, the beast, okay? But the dragon is the Satan. It's just interesting to see these things play out. I mean, it is fun to watch, And who is like the beast who can fight against it? Revelation 13, 1-4. So, Iran, Haman, 3:14:25. The blood moon eclipse lights up the sky, but there's the Haman connection. Thank you, Axios, for this. I want you to see the conspiracy on the right-hand side from Psalm 83, a song of Asaph. God, don't remain silent. Don't stay quiet, God, because here are your enemies causing an uproar. Those who hate you are raising their heads. craftily conspiring against your people. And that's what I'm showing you. On both sides here, you see people craftily conspiring against the Jews, consulting together against your treasure. They say, come, let us wipe them out as a nation. Once more, that Haman type attitude. Let the name of Israel be remembered no more. With one mind, they plot their schemes. The covenant that they made is against you, against God, the tents of Edom, and other nations. Okay, now these don't match up exactly with what's going on right now, but they're and the descendants of Lot, whatever that happens to be. It's just interesting to see the Haman plot line go through the Bible. And Amalek. Okay, now this is about Israel should hit Iran's nuclear sites. That's what Trump is saying. I'm telling you that the imperialists must get rid of America. Then they can attack Israel. And that is the plan, according to Dudeman and Wilkerson and others, where we just sense that America isn't going to survive through to the end, that they will be attacked at some point in time. And, Trump is asking Israel to hit Iran. Well, that's going to cause other nations to want to hit us. We'll see, okay? And it's all part of the end times conspiracy against the Jews. Why do the Satanists, the anti-Semites, the witches, the Wiccans believe that it is their time to conjure fallen angels to manifest? Why are the Christians so blind to the schemes of evil? Basically, what people are doing now is stoking hatred first against the Jews. You can see that on the lower left-hand side. It sounds like Hitler, and that's what's going on today. On the right-hand side, the significance of the blood moon eclipses. The nations that hate Israel are holding joint military drills under a blood red moon, and during Purim 2025 to determine the fate of Israel. It is biblical in many, many ways. And I can't tell you that there are some interesting linguistic oddities going on here. You can read it for yourself if you want to pause it. But I'm telling you that these people are readying for World War III and pushing for it. And it seems to be related to Haman. This is from Midrash, but it's interesting anyway. And Jared found it, not me, obviously. But when he arrived in Adar, Haman found that its zodiac sign was Pisces, and then he said, "I will be able to swallow them as fish, which swallow one another." So Rabbah 7, Targum Shani 3, and so it's like fish. It's Adar. It's the zodiac sign. It's Pisces. It's just interesting that's what he drew lots to do. And it's not biblical, but it's interesting. Obviously those people believed in the zodiac signs back then. So 3 Purim eclipses in a row is very interesting. The 3-part hat of Haman, the Esther story, things like that. It's very interesting. Once again, I'm citing Jarrett from Supernatural by Design. And it is interesting to note the patterns that we're in. We're in a pattern of 9 blood moon eclipses coming up, but 2 of which are on Purim in 2 years in a row. And then, in 2024, it was just a standard blood. It was an eclipse, but not a blood moon eclipse. Okay, so once again, big time was Thursday night into Friday. 3 significant blood moons hits tonight. And then, so it's going to be interesting to watch in 2025 and 2026. I personally believe we're due for the 6th seal. I really believe that. On my calendar, that's what seems to be next on the list. We'll see. Okay. So, and we see all the hatred against Israel right now. And my friend Pastor Mark Biltz is going to be on the show soon. Our Prophecy Roundtable show. He thinks it portends significant events for Israel, and I truly believe he's right. Okay, so the eclipses, yes, it's scientific, it's physics. I see that it makes sense and everything like that, but the problem is it also makes sense spiritually. So in the next few slides, you're going to see some weird things. You can pause the videos anytime you want to, but it's just interesting. It's more than physics, people. It's a spiritual nature as you see these eclipses occurring. This is interesting. It's a total lunar eclipse, but this is done by Eye of Wisdom, which is the dark side. This is Haman and Amalek and things like that. And they're going to give you some interesting phrases that they seem to know what's going on. They're perceiving something, okay? So once again, let's go back to this, look at this, and then look at the layout here, okay? You've got the blood moon eclipse on one side, another one on the other side, and in the middle, you're going to have this horrible centennial conclave of the Luciferian hierarchy. across the world. And so just notice the full moons and then the symmetry of all that's going on there. Okay, and Mark Biltz will be on the show the next day. And so it isn't astrology. This is their religious system. This is Eye of Wisdom again. And they truly believe that they're going to be able to release the sons of God to stalk us on the earth. Okay, but you can see the blood moon eclipse that goes on. They put a lot of time into this artwork, and this is the other side. This is not the godly side, okay? This is Haman's side. Once again, the eclipses, and they understand the significance. And so it's one of the most spiritually active times of their lives. And you can see the symmetry between the eclipses and then that big blood moon in the middle. Okay. And then you can see it on Saturday Night Live from a week and a half ago, where you can see I put in the dates of these important eclipses and full moons, but Lady Gaga with the red hands on the lady there, Heidi, and the bowl of blood and things like that. Sickening, gross. Well, we know what red hands stand for, and that is blood. And so Palestinian infamous for 2,000 lynching of soldiers in Ramallah killed in Gaza strike. The red hands situation. Well, there you go. So we all know what it means in Gaza. We know what the red hands mean. So when you see people like that, you know which side they're on. That's from the times of Israel. So getting back to the slides, and you can pause these anytime you want to, between energies weaken. And so you'll see certain energies exaggerate and certain energies weaken during these time frame, according to the other side. Okay. When the world around you feels unstable, and it does, and you can see that third eye going on, they use that a lot on the other side. Okay. And then it's interesting timing. Ramadan is occurring during this month of Adar, setting up just before Passover, and you have the blood moon eclipse occurring during Ramadan in that weird cycle. It's just Ramadan moves around because it's based on the lunar cycle, so it moves a month forward every year. It's just interesting timing. Okay. You can stop and pause anytime you want here, but keep in mind, if you've been seeing the same numbers, that's gematria. That's not good. That's bad eschatology and theology. If you see the 222s or the 555s, it's meaningless. Okay, it's just numbers. And this is my attack on Jason Sobel. I don't like the guy because he is using pathetic gematria to prove his stupid theories. And this isn't the Bible at all. He's saying because the Hebrew year is 5785, 85 on the Hebrew calendar is the age that Joshua and Caleb went in and actually possessed the promised land. So this is the year to possess your promise. Together they heal the security, possessing the promise. Okay, and Sheen is the number 300, the letter of change and transformation. That's just junk science. Okay, that's just Jason being a goofball, and he shouldn't be doing that. Okay, he should know better than that. He's getting 112,000 subscribers for that kind of junk. That's a joke. Okay, I'm telling you, the other side believes the portal has opened already. Okay, and so they know something's going on. So this is Eye of Wisdom again. They want the portal to open to release the sons of God, the fallen angels. That's what they want. Okay, and so it's Haman, it's Purim, but it's also the acceleration. It's Israel attacking Israel, the age of spiritual disclosure, things like that, vibrations they want their incantations, their fears, the blood, the witches, the Wiccans, the pagans, all that stuff. It's accelerating. Now, on the upper right-hand side, this is from John Haller. He always talks about acceleration, convergent, logistics, and understanding. Well, on the other hand, the other side is talking about it too. They know those types of things are occurring. Acceleration, convergence, logistics, and understanding. Just keep it in mind. And you can pause any of these that you want to. Obviously, I added the middle section to this, but basically, they think the energy is shifting. They know that there's something going on here. They know that they're calling things out for whatever it's going to be, that their energy is shifting somehow. This is an energy shift. This is evil. This is bad. This is where you sell your soul and you drink your liquid death, and it's an energy drink. It's horrible. And they have their own little country club, and they think this is a great big party. No, this is sick and twisted. but it's called liquid death. Stay away from it. Don't drink it. Don't drink it. It's not bad for you anyway. I want you to see what's going on here with the blood moon eclipses, the horns, things like that. They call this the final warning that things are shifting, and this is that same odd, video that I've been citing all the way through. Just very intriguing that they're aware something is going on, okay? But see the horns and the moon-like eyes and other things like that. And then Saturday Night Live giving us the same horns that you just saw on the last slide. And this is their birthday party, and then summoning their fallen angel god, their pentagrams inverted, birthday at Friendlies from Saturday Night Live. Very sick and twisted, summoning and opening portals, things like that. Yeah, they're saying the portals are wide open, and you can see the blood moon eclipse, and you can see the other artwork that matches up with it. It's very interesting stuff. So I'm telling you that all of the side on the other side, the economist side, the world ahead 2024 with the eclipses, solar and lunar, the various leaders vying off each other, and then the time is running out, and they think, what they want to do is release these fallen angels due to the eclipses. That's what they're pushing for. That's what they're summoning, things like that. And this is the Eye of Wisdom, one of the last slides here. Once a portal like this opens, then these beings come through, and that's what they're trying to summon. That's their goal. So once again, this was Eye of Wisdom. Be careful. This stuff is the dark side, but I want you to be aware of it and see it. The Age of Disclosure, UFO documentary trailer touts biggest discovery. So basically what the other side is hoping to do is have an age of spiritual disclosure, okay? Where these UFOs are not that. They would be extra dimensional beings. They would be coming into our sphere, and we would be able to see them. That's what they want to occur. And this is from the Hollywood Reporter. So it's just interesting. That's what they're trying to push for. So this is from my buddy, Dr. Bill Schnoebelen. And so he says the Jewish Feast of Purim, and it's also a blood moon, which means it's a lunar eclipse, and it's a time of great deal of spiritual intensity for those going to the land on the Feast of Purim, March 3rd of 2026 also. So to mark your calendars for this year and next year. These are times where we need to pray special spiritual warfare prayers for dark, dark days, because while I don't personally believe there's an actual astrological aspect to this that has any validity, thousands of witches and sorcerers and black magicians do, and they believe that they can take advantage of this time of these eclipses to wage a higher level of spiritual warfare against the body of Messiah. So we need to be up in Adam. We need to be awake and aware now that there's three elements to consider here about this confluence of spiritual forces. Number one, there's a symbolic level, and don't underestimate that, believe me, symbolism is so critically important both in the Bible and also in the thinking of the world system of occultists and so on, and the symbolism. So Dr. Bill Schnoebelen, he's one of the few guys out there that gets it, that there's another side competing against the faithful that believe in Yeshua or in God in general, and they're fighting against us spiritually. We need to pray and fight back. Okay, there are others that want to open portals, CERN, okay? And out of the door might come something, or we might send something through it. Sergio Bortolucci, who is the director of research at CERN, okay? So they kicked this off on April 8th, which was the eclipse date of last year, of 2024. Interesting. And then as we end up our slides here, Haman sounds like the Antichrist. The verses in Esther sound like the verses in Revelation. And so, given authority, worship or death, 10 sons, 10 kings, destroyed Jewish people, destroyed by the Lion King, Esther, the bride present, Mordecai, King David. It's just interesting how they match. Very similar. Okay, and the signs are replete in the Bible. Okay, the sun, the moon, the stars. God set it up in Genesis 1:14 that they would be the markings of what's going on in the world. We should be aware of those things. He tells us to look up. Okay, so we have that in Joel 2:31. We have that in Matthew 24:29. We have this consistently through the Bible. So just keep it in mind. And then the last slide, I want you to see the eclipses on this side and then read the verse with me from Proverbs. Yes, it's eschatological, and I'll explain why. Come on, let's make love till morning. We'll enjoy making love. My husband isn't at home. That would be the husband, the Messiah. He's gone on a long trip, and he took a bag of money with him, and he won't be back until the moon is full. I'm arguing that's possibly Sukkot. So your husband, Yeshua, is coming back when the moon is full. Probably during Sukkot, and probably not Passover. With all her sweet talk, she convinces him, enticing him with her seductive words. At once he follows her like an ox on its way to be slaughtered, like a fool to be punished in the stocks. Proverbs 7:18 through 22. It's just interesting that he returns on the full moon in this case. Okay, we're in the birth pangs. We're not in the tribulation. We're not in the great tribulation. We probably are very close to the sixth seal. Very, very close. I would expect that. And we're battling against Haman. We're going to get married to Yeshua on a Rosh Hashanah, a Yom Kippur, a Sukkot of some year. You can't be naked. You need clean garments. It's a wedding. So be blessed. Thank you very much for your time. And we will see you again, hopefully next week. God bless. Bye-bye.